Hello, and welcome to 92 and Pike, our weekly news, what's going on in tech show where we talk with special guests. I'm Chloe Condon, and I am here, as always, joined by my co-host, Brandon Minnick. Woo! Welcome, Brandon.
Great to see you again, as always.
How's it going on this fine Thursday? Can you believe it's July? This is wild.
It's beautiful. No, I have no idea what day it is anymore, but if you say it's July, I believe you.
Sure. I'm determining what day it is by the weather outside, and Hamilton is quickly approaching, which brings me to our guest, Charmaine. Welcome, Charmaine Lee, to the show. Woo!
Hello. Glad I remind you of Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. Always on my mind, you and Hamilton. Tell the lovely folks at home who you are, what you do, and what are you doing here at Microsoft? Who are you? How did you get here?
Yeah, I'm Charmaine, and I'm finishing off my degree this December at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver. I study computer science, and I minor in creative writing. So I am a director at a nonprofit organization called AI for Anyone, where we try to democratize AI literacy. And I'm actually a returning intern on the developer relations team, and I work on docs.microsoft.com, which is our technical documentation platform.
3-time intern. She's a pro. She's a senior intern. Doing all of the things here at Microsoft. So that's so exciting. And documentation is so important, especially when you're building tools and products and people got to know how to use those things. So thank you for all the work that you do.
Yeah, definitely. I love docs.
And Charmaine, it's so cool that you're working on the DevRel team because, Brandon, the way Charmaine and I met was at a community event at a company I used to work for called Sentry. We met at a Sentry Scouts event, and we met at GitHub. So it's all sort of come full circle.
Oh, no
now
way.
We're working for Microsoft, which has GitHub. So what a small world. It's been so amazing to see you just grow your career. And wow, 3-time intern. So awesome.
I know. I feel like you've accomplished so much more than me, and you haven't even graduated college yet.
Yes. Definitely.
Shame on me, and kudos to you.
We have to catch up, Brandon. We're on the DevRel team. This intern, she's running circles around us.
Just take my job. It's fine.
So we're going to start out the program today with a little game that we like to call Two Truths and a Lie. So I'm going to tell you a couple different headlines here, and you're going to guess which one is real and which one is fake. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So here is the first one. So first article is, there is a beekeeping hive that harvests the honey for you. A smart beekeeping hive. That is headline number 1. Headline number 2 might be a little reminiscent of last week, so might throw you off, may provide some clues. This one is, NASA designed a vibrating necklace to help you stop touching your face. Again, that's NASA designed a vibrating necklace to help you stop touching your face. And the third one here is, Spotify launches a special subscription service for people who live together. 2 truths and a lie. 2 truths and a lie.
Who gets to go first?
Charmaine, how about you? You take a stab at it.
I don't know. Okay, so the beekeeping hive, that sounds legit. Like, I don't, why not? And have y'all heard about, like, the murder hornets that are coming their way? Like, what up with that?
What happened to the murder hornets?
I saw a hornet yesterday on my balcony, and I did not go outside, so.
Good call. So that would be nice, like, if we won't confuse the two, like murder hornets, regular bees. That'd be cool. The NASA with the vibrating, like, is that what NASA is spending their resources on now? Like, is that what they're doing?
Well, last week we talked about the crowdsourcing a moon toilet, I believe, right, Brandon? And also, we had another NASA one as well.
Lance Bass going.
Lance Bass, and then one about fragrances that smell like earth.
Okay. Wait, and what was the last one?
Spotify launches a new service for people who live together.
Okay, so it's like going beyond that family subscription plan.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna say Spotify just because I feel like if Spotify was doing that, maybe we'd hear about it more.
Okay.
But, hey, Brandon, is that a thing?
Brandon, I'll take it over to you now.
Spotify's totally real. That one's a truth for sure, 100%.
Oh,
Unless
okay.
the Tech Meme Ride Home podcast, which I subscribe to daily, lied to me. But that's where I heard about it. Where, yeah, now in theory, like roommates who live together could share an account and, well, not share an account, but they could share a payment, I guess. But they could still use their own accounts. And like, yeah, I'm kind of with Charmaine. I want the bees. I want the bee headline to be real, so badly.
You're like, I for one welcome our beekeeping.
So speaking of the bees, is this a human design created hive that the bees enter into and then they do their thing and then it's got some mechanics to just essentially scrape the honey automatically?
That's a great question that I cannot give you an answer to because that would be cheating.
We're doing headlines.
Because that's a lot. And then, yeah, the vibrating necklace. I don't know why NASA would do that. And I'm trying to think, why wouldn't you touch your face as an astronaut?
As I touch my face, I'm like, oh no.
Wash your hands first and then you're fine. But I'm going to go with number 2 is the lie because, yeah, I'm not sure why astronauts would touch their face or why they would need to be alerted to touch their face. And I'm team bees, so I want number 1 to be real.
Team bees, for sure. One of my favorite 90 Day Fiancé couple is a couple that met beekeeping, so can confirm. Also just a fan of bees and the planet in general. We need bees. They're helping my Meyer lemon tree grow on my balcony right now. So I'm sorry, y'all. I tricked you. They're all true. Because I couldn't decide. All 3 of them were so strange. So let me give you the breakdown on a couple of these things. The Spotify one is real. I know this because my boyfriend signed us up for an account. And here's the best part, y'all. My boyfriend, so we have a rule in our house. He does not listen to heavy metal with the volume on. It has to be in headphones because I can't listen to it. And I don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race with the sound on because he's not a fan of the show. So this being said, with this new Spotify feature, it gives you, you know, when you get like your playlist of the day and it'll be like, here's a bunch of songs that we recommended for you. If you're on one of these family accounts, which I'm very excited for, it will make you a combined playlist of music of both of your interests into one. So that means my boyfriend and I are going to have a playlist of heavy metal, some RuPaul's Drag Race top hits, Enya, because I'm always playing Enya. He calls it Titanic music and doesn't like it. So I'm really looking forward to this very bizarre Broadway heavy metal electronic mishmash that's going to happen in our household. So that one is real. To answer your question, Brandon, the beekeeping hive that harvests honey for you, you can view this article on Mashable, and it truly is like this device that it's built by humans called Flow, and it literally just distributes the honey into these containers. So it's truly like an automated disrupting beekeeping. And what's really funny is in this article that I was reading is it said, Flow Hive 2, that's the name of the device, allows beekeepers to tap honey directly from the hive without disrupting the bees or getting stung while harvesting, which literally is disrupt bees without disrupting bees. And I thought that was very funny. And then, yeah, that's a great question about the NASA one, because that one's actually true. It says, if you can't stop touching your face as the coronavirus outbreak drags on, NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab has a wearable for you. It's called the Pulse Pendant, and you can hang it from your neck like a necklace. And it's not just decorative. When your hand gets close to your face, it starts to vibrate, and it reminds you to stay away from your face zone. And I wanted to choose this one because Brandon and I actually have a teammate. I guess it's all of our teammates, Charmaine, because you work work on the DevRel team, we have a teammate named M who made a really cool project with Azure where it's a video camera that will alert you when you touch your face. So shout out to M. We love you. Your project's really, really cool. We'll definitely share some links to that in the description below on the video. But yeah, so they're all true, all of them. I wonder if NASA had a hackathon or something, because that's such an interesting little device.
Project,
They have a, let's see, it says NASA doesn't have an Etsy shop or anything, so the design instructions to make Pulse are available for free for anyone. So you just need a 3D printer, a soldering tool, some wires, a motor, a coin battery, and some other materials. So it sounds
That's a
like
lot of things.
Yeah, it sounds like your Amazon order may be a little delayed getting all of those things, but you can make one of these at home, which is really cool. I bet we have some friends between the three of us who just have all these items laying around. Shout out to my friend Stacey Davino. I bet she's going to make this as soon as she sees this. But yeah, sorry, I tricked you guys. They were all real.
So
we got.
So wait, how does that necklace work then? How does it detect when your hand gets close?
Yeah, let's see. So, it looks like it's using, so NASA's been developing a couple different products. There's another one that's a potentially life-saving ventilator prototype. And it says, since the pandemic began, various devices and tools have emerged to help you socially distance. There's even a hoodie with a sneeze sleeve and a built-in face shield. So people are getting really innovative during shelter in place. And that was actually another article that I found while looking for these, was talking about the uptick in innovation during this time where we're all stuck at home, of trying to like problem solve and figure out ways to keep safe. So very interesting headlines this week.
Yeah, very cool.
And to make a segue, they stopped making segways. Anyway, that was another article that was separate. I was saving that one.
End of an era. Remember when those revolutionized transportation?
R.I.P. Segway, one of the goofiest vehicles ever, according to this article from Mashable. And it was told it was going to be the device of the future in 2002. However, I think it was more the device of tourists at Pier 39, as far as I saw them. So R.I.P. Segway. Won't be seeing as many of those in the streets or on buses or trains. So sorry to trick y'all. Sorry the news is so strange that it was hard to determine this week.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. So we did Two Troops and Alive. 2 Troops and a Lie, not 2 Troops and Alive. We are alive here. So now it's time for our kind of recap of the week section, where we talk about what we've been working on, something interesting that happened in the last week, maybe a meme or a tweet of the week. Brandon, do you have anything special you want to share with us today?
Sure, of course. This week I started diving into the latest version of .NET. So if you're a .NET developer like me, you can check out the .NET 5 preview. And I took the bold step of downloading preview software onto my main work machine, but it was actually worked really nice. And there's a lot of benefits in .NET 5, especially for Xamarin developers. We're taking things like, if you've heard of the Mono runtime and the .NET Core runtime, we're bringing those together. And then on top of that, there's also C# 9, which is will be the new version of C#. It's still, that's also in preview as well, but has a lot of new goodies in there that basically help make writing code easier. Even little things like in C#, we could always we could say is something else. So like I could have a object and I could say is my object is string, and then if it is a string, it would return true. But there was no way to say do the negative of that. So in C# before C# 9, we'd have to do like the bang symbol, like the exclamation point, then wrap that is, and basically just negate it like that. And it looked ugly. It didn't read well because you're saying, is this not, and then executing based on the result. And so now they added in the not keyword. So you can now literally type out my object is not string, and it'll give you a true or false. And
prettier code.
Yeah, I love it. It's there's some. I mean, there's a bunch of really cool things in C#9, but you don't realize it's. For me, it's always the little things like that just is incremental kind of quality of life improvements as a developer. And so it's been really fun to play around with those. But I personally am still going to wait until we officially release it. So until we take off the preview tag before I necessarily push any code to GitHub or to the cloud or to my mobile apps in the App Store before then. But yeah, it's always nice playing around with these, get a head start on it, and just be able to like chat about it and also brag about it to all my friends here on 92 and Pike.
Yeah. How long have you been writing in C#, Brandon? Probably like good couple years, right?
Yeah, I first started C# in 2010. I started working a job where they were already using C#, and my background was in Java, so it wasn't too much of a stretch, especially back then. That was iterations and iterations ago in C#. So we didn't have a lot of the fun, cool things we have today, but back then it was still pretty close to Java. Just, C# likes to capitalize things where Java likes to keep it lowercase, and it wasn't too much of a stretch. But yeah, it's been a decade.
Wow. In 2010, what was I doing? I didn't know how to code yet. I was doing Gypsy the musical, I'm pretty sure. So it must be so cool to work with a language that long and to kind of see it change over time and like see all these updates. It's almost like, seeing a glow up happen before your eyes with a language.
I love it. I will say one downside is, so for me, somebody that's been doing it and seeing the changes increment over time, it's all been it feels slow and subtle. But yeah, I'm working with my friend PJ, who we hung out with a couple weeks ago. Me and Chloe did.
PJ. And shout out to PJ. He has a great Twitch stream.
Right. Making amends. He was an English teacher and still is. He's been teaching English for 15 years and is now looking to learn to code. And so Chloe joined us. He and I code together every Saturday, and Chloe popped in to share her story because similar background, didn't have a degree in engineering, and kind of talking about that path. But yeah, it's been fun teaching PJ because there's all these things in C# today that make our lives easier, but that also means that there's 2 or 3 different ways of doing things now. Yeah. And so he'll learn something and I'll be like, want to see something cool? And you just kind of like, whoop. And he's like, what? You can do that? I'm like, yeah, isn't that cool? Like, you don't have to write 20 lines of code. You can do it in 1 line now.
It's so true when you're first learning how to code and you have like a mentor or someone you're working with and they show you sort of these like shortcuts on the keyboard and you're first starting out, you're like, are you a magician? Are you a wizard? Like, how did you do that? Right now, I'm super, super excited because a very, very good friend of mine that I used to do musicals with, who, I'm not joking, worked as a professional clown with Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey, lived in a train, did the whole clown life thing, just got into Hackbright, the engineering school that I went to in San Francisco. It's an all-female software engineering boot camp. And it's so exciting to see people from these non-traditional backgrounds, like PJ, who had this whole previous life in education, come into tech because they bring such amazing perspective and enthusiasm. And oh my goodness, I can't wait to see what Lorena, my favorite clown, is going to do in the software engineering world. So Charmaine, how did you first get started learning about tech? Like, how did you decide that you wanted to pursue this as your job, 3-time intern at Microsoft?
Yeah, so I think I feel the same way about like how Brandon feels about C# with JavaScript. But yeah, I started playing Neopets, and through that I started like making guilds with my sister. We recruited all my friends into this Harry Potter guild we made. And then I started making...
Wait, what is a Neopet guild? Rewind. Why would one need a guild in Neopet? Because it felt like a very solitary game.
Oh, no, it's not solitary at all. I had
Maybe I didn't have many Neopet friends. Maybe it was me.
Yeah, the fellow Neopians failed you. But No, yeah, we had guilds, and you could have like different, like you could have like headmaster as like the title, and then you could have like different titles, and you could rise in the ranks, and you do like activities, and then you could like donate things to the guild, and then you can raise your rank. Kind of sounds like an MLM, but it's
Oh my goodness, I'm obsessed with this.
but yeah, so my sister told me like, oh, you should just start making like user lookups, like the how you decorate your Neopets page for our guild members, so that we could all have like matching Harry Potter like user lookups. So then I started actually just like stealing code from other people, and then I didn't like having watermarks on my like code. Like I didn't like having watermarks on my user lookups of other people's work. And so I just like removed them. And then someone messaged me. They're like, I'm actually gonna report you because you're just stealing my stuff. So then I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just really didn't like the look of it, which is the whole point. But I told them, yeah, I was gonna just I'll learn. I'll do this myself. Don't worry about it. And then I started like kind of script kidding, and then eventually wrote like user lookups that I open sourced to share with other Neopians. Yeah, that's my first step. And it was like, honestly, I was so young. I had no idea what I was even doing. But all of this was like when I was like 7, 8 years old. Yeah.
So I have to ask, now that you're working on the docs team at Microsoft, do you find you're kind of using your Neopian brain a little bit to help you with maybe documentation or like suggesting features? Do you like kind of feel that set the base for what you do now?
Yeah, I do think so. Like, I think that actually it's a weird community, but like it was very much a developer community of all of us making user lookups together and like open sourcing our code essentially. And so I see a lot of that happening in docs where all of our documentation is open sourced and it's on GitHub and everyone contributes and it's very collaborative. And I definitely find that, it's very transferable, like that experience. And I also just love like the whole storytelling aspect of playing a game and living through it. I see that as my role as like a PM intern right now of like the storytelling aspect and understanding how our users use our products differently. And yeah, it's like, it's all the same.
Yeah. It's so interesting to hear you compare kind of like the Neopian community to like a developer community, because that's so true. When like, I myself, I always kind of say I didn't get into tech until, I went to Hackbright and I learned how to code later in life. But when I was in high school and maybe even middle school, because I had, one of those big candy apple Mac computers with the big back to it, a blue one. My parents were both artists and we were so excited. My mom did Photoshop, so we had to get a computer. And I think when I look back on like the communities that I was involved in online, I was on all of these Broadway.com forums. I remember there was a whole kind of like black market of Broadway bootlegs, because this was before like anybody knew how to access these things on the internet, and all I wanted to do was see Wicked with Idina Menzel in it and working with the community to find it. So it's kind of full circle. You don't realize sometimes that MySpace code or that LiveJournal code or that Neopet code that you wrote kind of prepped you for this life. So I love that. That's actually a great segue into our next segment. Our next segment is a little something that we like to call 8 Bits. And if you've not watched the show before, 8 Bits is a show where we ask the same 7 questions. It's sort of our tech version of Inside the Actor Studio, except it's inside the Teams call that we do this meeting in. And we ask the question to the person. We have 1/8 bonus question. So Charmaine, you kind of answered the first one, but I guess I'll say, you said that Neopets were what got you into technology and wanting to do this, but what is your earliest memory of tech? Do you have like an early memory of maybe the first computer that you went on, or maybe the first time your sister showed you some programming stuff?
Honestly, yeah, Neopets is like a big part of that. And then when I really, really got into like computers, I think was when my sister needed me to play her RuneScape account for her, so that she could level up while she's not playing.
What is RuneScape? I've never heard of this.
It's like the old version of like a downgraded version of like maybe World of Warcraft or.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like you have different skills and you level up by spending a lot of time doing things.
I love it. It's like Animal Crossing.
Totally. Yeah, it totally is. Yeah. So yeah, I would say like it's just a series of different computer games, I think. Or actually, just something popped into my mind of this like Mickey Mouse game that I used to play.
Wait, was it the train one? Was there a train involved?
No.
Okay.
It's like you're in a kitchen and you're like making food, and then Mickey pops his head into your home, and then he'll try your food.
Oh my goodness. Uninvited. Rude.
Hopefully it's good. I want to fed Mickey.
Yeah, I always did my best.
I know Brandon and I are a little bit older than you, Charmaine, but I retweeted this earlier this week, but someone posted a screenshot of Math Blasters, which there were a bunch of different iterations of Math Blasters, but the caption said something like, retweet if you could like never land the thing correctly, because you like had to get the numbers right and like land right on top of the alien to get him, and games used to be super stressful. I love that.
Like my wife and I have been playing old school games on Super Nintendo, Sega during the quarantine, and I forget, like they don't even let you save, so you just have to beat the game in one go in a lot of these. And if you die, then you just start back from the beginning. And like I just beat 8 levels and it took me 2 hours. And they're like, nope, try again.
I remember when they started, so I have the Aladdin Super Nintendo game, and they have this feature where it's like, oh, when you beat this one level, we give you this code, and you type in the code and you can go back to where you were. And I was like, oh my God, like this is before cell phones where we could like take a screenshot of it and be like writing it down, like chicken scratch on a paper, like apple B heart 22. But ironically enough, we have my original Super NES here on display in our apartment. And my boyfriend said, well, you can go online and you can, play all these. They're all open source at this point. And I said, how dare you? This is an artifact. We have to keep this in our home. This was formative to my early years. So I have a big obsession with video games as well. So our next question, Charmaine, is what is the last piece of tech or hardware that you bought? This is always a tough one.
So for AI for Anyone, we were hosting a workshop, and so I wanted a better microphone. So I ordered a microphone, which is really hard to get nowadays because everyone's trying to start a podcast and whatnot. So I ordered one, and it's right here, and I can't believe I'm not even using it. Like it's just, whoa, look.
Wow.
Yeah, look at the microphone. I'm not using it.
If I had one like that, I would pretend I'm in the recording studio all the time and be like, oh, like look like I'm recording an album or something. Have you tested it out yet?
Yeah, I first tested it out in my friends, like we were just video calling, and I'm like, hold up, let me just try something. And then I just like left that on for the entirety of the video, which was, they felt very weird about it. But I recorded, so I also have a MIDI controller, which is like right there, which is why I'm looking there. So I did a cover of Machine Gun Kelly's song Bloody Valentine.
Cool.
So yeah, it's not being put to great use, but it's getting some use.
I feel very out of the loop because Brandon, I see your microphone. Now I see your cool microphone. I got to go on the microphone train. I did a talk with my friend April recently, and her, like, when I watched it back, listening to her talk felt like ASMR, and mine felt like I was on a call with someone. So I need to find a good microphone.
Yeah, and they're also nice for, like, we're using it for 92 and Pike right now, but I'll take it off the stand and I've got a bass stand I can put it on. And like when my wife and I are chatting with friends over video chat, like over a Zoom call, we'll set it up there too, because it's also a directional mic. So it helps avoid like echoes and all that fun stuff. So my friends make fun of me, but
you get to look like you're on NPR. So you look really fancy. I don't look fancy. This is my microphone right here, my Pixel earbuds. But speaking of new technology that we're going to purchase, I'm very excited to look into purchasing the new Microsoft. This is not an ad, by the way. The new Microsoft earbuds look like little earrings, and I'm very excited to test them out. Next question. What technology do you love? I know you just mentioned that you work with AI for everyone. I would love to hear more about that, but I'll let you answer the question first. What technology do you love?
Okay, so I'm not gonna say TikTok. I recently discovered an app called like Threads, which is by Instagram. It's basically Instagram, but strips away the entire feed, so you only talk to close friends. And so it's nice because I've been meaning to delete Instagram for a while, but I have some group chats in there that I would still like to be a part of. So I don't know, kind of makes it into like a messenger type of chat. And then I was thinking back to, so like non-leading like new tech wise, I love air conditioners, and like it's because I grew up in Hong Kong. And like I just remember I would wake up and be so excited because I would get to turn the AC on, because my parents didn't let us like put it on overnight because that's such a waste, obviously, and it's so unenvironmentally friendly, so I would just like run out to go turn on the AC. So yeah, I don't know. I thought you
very relevant. I'm living in a home with an air conditioner for the first time in many years. And I feel like I've turned into a dad. This is very stereotyping a lot, but the first couple months that we lived here, my boyfriend, he runs very warm, and we'd have the AC on and a window would be open. And I go, why do you have the AC on with the window? I totally turned into a dad. I'm raised by a dad, so that makes total sense. But AC is amazing. Do you have AC where you are, Brandon? You're in the cold area.
No. We haven't. Yeah, it's not really a thing in San Francisco.
Yeah, it's so rare to have in SF, but over in Oakland, 10 degrees warmer.
But yeah, it was weird because I lived in Florida for 20 years, and you need air conditioning.
You need it.
Can't live without it. And so, moving to San Francisco, we've lived here for 5 years now, and never had air conditioning. But really, there's only like 1 or 2 weeks a year where it actually gets hot, like where it'll get into the 70s or even the 80s in San Francisco, Fahrenheit.
True.
But I mean, those weeks, like we own, I think, 3 or 4 fans now, and so you just have all the fans on you, just blowing at max speed until the sun goes down. But other than that, it's fine.
Definitely an adjustment from Florida. I'm from Sacramento, where it would often hit the hundreds, and I vividly remember many California state fairs that always happens in, well, not this summer, but every summer in Sacramento. There's a huge state fair that happens there with the Midway and animals and 4-H and cars and all this different stuff. But I have vivid memories being like 4 or 5 years old, and they literally just let children run into the fountain. Like, you weren't supposed to go into the fountain, but it was that hot that they're like, please, like, don't die of heat exhaustion and go into the fountain. So air conditioning, I'm ready for the 3 of us to start we'll disrupt air conditioning and do like smart air conditioning for people. Like a Roomba, but it's an air conditioner and it goes from room to room. Think about it. TM.
I'm thinking and I like it.
Let's pivot. Let's pivot we'll move from the advocacy team, make a smart air conditioning team, IoT at Microsoft. All right, next question. What technology do you hate?
Okay, so I saw this in the previous stream, and so I was thinking about it. I don't really have. I think I don't think I have like specific products that I don't really like, but what I do think about a lot, at least it's like top of mind for me, is like I think there's a lot of like hype around certain products, like certain tech products at least. And then I find that like interns and new grads especially find that they really want to work at places that are making those really shiny, cool products. But it makes me really think about like what is the value of those things, and like how, like, I really need to take a step back and think about like how are we using our skill set, and like is it bridging gaps, is it impactful? It's something that I think about a lot. So I think it's like those type of products that I use when I kind of take a step back and realize, oh, it's not really adding value to my life. I don't think it's adding value to anyone. Why are really, really brilliant minds working on this?
Sure.
That's kind of like those type of products are ones that like I don't want to like
And it sounds like with the work that you do with AI, that like ethical AI is probably a thing at top of mind a lot. Like making sure that the people and the hype around these things are doing the right thing, really.
Yeah, that's the goal of our org, is we're trying to make it so that we can democratize AI literacy and help people kind of learn about AI enough to the point where they can make decisions about policies that will affect them. And I think that's kind of the biggest part, is like, how do you determine if something's like ethical, and yeah, like, is it driving social impact? And I think that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely. It's been a big week for ethical tech. Just seeing a lot of Reddit taking down a lot of, what they've considered unethical subreddits. And there's been it's a really interesting time to be alive, to see all of these kind of positive moves forward to help protect people online, their safety, and also just to make AI and ML more inclusive and make sure that we're training data sets with the right data and inclusive data. And on that topic of TikTok, look at that segue, not RIP segue, still here. There is an amazing developer on TikTok named Ray, I believe, who did a very, very cool TikTok about training a visual machine learning model, which is what really got me inspired to get more involved in AI and ML, with drag queen images. And she was showing the early stages of what the computer thought a drag queen looked like based on the training data it had gotten. It was so beautiful and artistic and just really, really cool, because you don't see a lot of these, groups sometimes being included in these data sets. So I'm really excited to get my hands on my new AI ML experience that I'm gaining this year, because I've made it my mission to up my skills in that area. And I'm going to do some weird stuff, y'all. I'm going to train some weird data sets. I can't wait. I'm going to have like a starfish data set. Who knows? I'll get some ideas from you, Charmaine.
We'll love that. Yeah.
Okay, next question. What other profession would you want to attempt?
I think it like has to be like a writer.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's like my minor. And I'm just like, I love writing. It's something that I can imagine myself doing like inside of work and then still want to do outside of work. Like, I just love writing. And so I originally went into creative writing thinking that I really liked young adult fiction. But then upon like kind of learning more about, I guess, like children literature, I found like myself really enjoying like writing actually like picture books and things for like younger audiences. And I think that it's so interesting how concise you have to be. It almost like adds this extra layer of complexity to it, because you have not only like a word count limit, but you also have like, you only have 32 pages to work with, for example, like a picture book. And I think, it adds like a lot of interesting, fun restrictions that you don't normally find in like other genres. So yeah.
Also, picture books and just children's books are so formative when you're younger. Like, do you all have your favorite ones? I feel like I loved Stinky Cheese Man and other strange stories, or whatever that was called.
Yeah, I learned to read on Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
So I think the first book I read was, what was it? I think it was Hop on Pop.
Yes, I was just gonna say Hop on Pop.
I was actually I was actually inspired by our conversation with Chloe like last time, and I started doing like NLP on Dr. Seuss books, because I think it's very interesting. Like, I think there's a lot to dig into like how they make this whimsical world and what words they're using and why is it that they can do it with so few words. And so, I think
make them up if you can't figure out how to rhyme.
Yeah.
and it works.
Yeah, leave it up to the imagination. That's another thing of like how whimsical it is, and how like you take what you will depending on what age you're from these books. Like, you can, like, an adult reading Dr. Seuss is so different than like a kid reading it. It's so cool.
I want to say at Hackbright that we did an exercise on Markov chains where we used Seuss words. I want to say that was a project that we did, and that was like my introduction to Markov chains. But what Charmaine was talking about, which is a really interesting talk that I think is online from DjangoCon that I keynoted at a couple years ago, these women did an analysis of the Harry Potter books and were able to determine that all of the descriptor, I guess they're adverbs, that described like Harry said angrily, or like Hermione said bossily, that all of the words used to describe Hermione were very much, bossy or like, telling people what to do. Whereas, the hero of the story, Harry and Ron, like Ron's descriptive adjectives would be very like timidly or things like that. So it really, analyzing text with AI is so fascinating. I'd love to talk to you. We should do a little project, Charmaine, with that Seuss stuff. That sounds really cool.
I'm down.
Yeah, and since you're working on the docs team with your internship, that's such an interesting blending of worlds too.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay.
Should Seussify the docs.
Seussify the docs.
Everyone, I have work to do. Gotta go.
Maybe we should think about it for April Fool's next year. We'll make all the docs Seussified, or maybe it'll be like a tab under
like
languages.
A toggle? Yeah. Oh, so
like
good.
how Facebook had like pirate speak for a little bit. We can do Seuss docs, but then you have to rhyme all the instructions. That might get a little tough.
You can just do like filler rhyme words.
Make 'em
just
up.
make them up. Yeah, just make them up.
So what profession would you not want to try, Charmaine?
Oh, I always like think about this. So I used to be in dissection club in high school, where we like met. It's like the nerdiest club you could be in. Like my sister hated it. She's like, Charmaine's at freaking dissection club again, mom. And like,
what's the weirdest, coolest thing you dissected?
So we were learning surgical techniques. So we did like, I feel so bad now, but like pregnant rats, and then we would take the babies out and then like sew them back up.
We did one in middle school of a squid, and I freaked out because we had this worksheet and it was like, do this, then do this. And one of the steps, I'm not joking, this is at Sutter Middle School, this really happened, was now take the pen out of the squid, because the kind of like vertebrae thing in the squid is called the pen, and it's this very kind of like flippy floppy pen looking thing. Dip it in the ink of the squid and sign your name at the bottom of this worksheet. And I was like, I'm out. I'm weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
I did owl pellets in the 3rd grade, which my boyfriend thought was really weird, but apparently this is a California thing that happens.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a weird time. Like I think back, I don't know how I did it. And I remember like not showing up to all the ones that I couldn't handle. Like I couldn't even stomach it, like dissecting a crow or something. I don't know. I couldn't.
So no taxidermy internship for you after this.
Probably. Yeah, unfortunately, I will have to turn down those opportunities. But that's where I realized I have really shaky hands. So I don't think I can't be a surgeon. Not that they want me to be a surgeon, but like that would be one question.
Well, that's interesting, because Brandon's answer to this question was like he couldn't do any sort of thing with blood because I got my blood drawn yesterday, Brandon. I thought of you. I was like, ooh.
Oh, dang. Did you pass out?
I didn't pass out. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. I'm seeing a trend. A lot of folks in technology don't want to deal with blood or dissecting things. This has definitely come up a couple times. All right. What technology do you wish existed from film or TV?
I think it's it's like such a cop out, but like really enjoyed Doctor Who.
Okay.
I see, you can probably tell.
Yep.
Yeah. So like it has to be the sonic screwdriver, right? Like, I don't know. I just don't see why you would say anything else, because the sonic screwdriver does everything, and it's like a Swiss Army knife for everything. So like why not? Tell me why not.
Okay, I have a confession. I've never watched Doctor Who. Where do I start? What season? The original? There's so much.
Yeah, there's so much. And also, well, all the old ones, like, you only watch for, like, humor because it's so bad.
Okay. But I do love, what's his name? Matt Stone? Smith. Matt Smith.
Yeah. I think he would be, like, a good doctor for you. Like, you would really enjoy him. He's just so fun and, like, has so much, like, personality.
I love him on The Crown, so.
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So
Okay.
Watch
I'm
it
gonna
and tell
have to
me.
watch this and then report back.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, ad hoc question. So the eighth question we always ask is a special question for our guest. And Brandon, you may not know this, but I know this about Charmaine. We're both big musical theater nerds. I even wore this hair clip that says nerd on it for this particular occasion. Shout out to Coding Crystals. I have other ones that say dev on it and other fun little tech things. But Charmaine, what is your favorite musical?
So I've watched Waitress 3 times.
Okay.
In like different cities. But in terms of like influential, life-changing, I walk out of the theater and my jaw dropped musicals, I think it would be like Pippin.
Okay. Did you see
like,
it on Broadway, the revival one?
Nope, I saw it as a UBC like theater show. Yeah. And then I really so I've never seen the entire musical of this. I've seen like not bootlegs. I have not seen bootlegs. Let's just say that. But Fun Home.
Fun Home was great. I saw Fun Home on Broadway. Very, very good. Love that show. Do you not know that one, Brandon?
Oh.
It is by, oh my goodness, I'm totally Alison Bechdel of the Bechdel Test fame. Are you familiar with the Bechdel Test? So the Bechdel test is, I'm going to totally butcher it, but the Bechdel test is basically a test for any film, television show thing where two women in the piece have to talk to each other about something other than a relationship or another man. So it kind of like determines if the show is sort of it is Bechdel test approved, sort of. And Alison Bechdel wrote this amazing, I think it was a graphic novel, Charmaine, am I
called
right?
Like a tragic comic.
Yeah, a tragic comic. And they turned it into a musical. Michael Cerveris was in it, a bunch of wonderful people, but it's a great, great show. A local child actor from here was in it, Zell. Shout out to Zell. He's a really incredible performer. Those are some great deep cuts. I will admit, on the Pippin front, every time I see a morning bun at Starbucks, I go, morning bun. And I start singing the morning glow song from Pippin. Do you have a favorite musical, Brandon? Are you a musical person?
Ooh, I mean, it's probably kind of a cop-out, but I mean, love Hamilton. That's the one I've seen most recently, probably with the rest of the world. But I did a bunch of plays growing up. I was in theater in middle school, and so I've been in a bunch, but
I myself have been in Pirates of Penzance twice, and Brandon here has been in Pirates of Penzance once. We're almost twins.
That's right.
Yeah.
Are you excited for Hamilton on Friday?
Oh my goodness.
On Disney Plus?
So I know. We don't have Disney Plus, but yeah, we've talked about just like we'll probably have to get Disney Plus just for this.
Gotta get Disney Plus.
That's the point. And they totally
They totally gotcha. There's also a really wonderful, speaking of STEM topics, Jeff Goldblum has a really wonderful show on Disney Plus where each episode is a different topic. So literally ranging from everything to tattoos, to denim, to all sorts of things. And I have learned a lot from these shows. On this episode, speaking of, I should have saved this for like Two Truths and a Lie, but there's a company in San Francisco that makes a temporary tattoo that you put on your skin, and it will tell you how much sun exposure you've gotten. So over time, it'll get more darker purple, I think, and then oh, I'm going to get burned and I should get out of the sun. And I learned that from Jeff Goldblum on Disney Plus. So check out Jeff Goldblum. Not an ad, just love Jeff Goldblum. Also, he lets someone... Oh, no, he gives a tattoo. So there's a Jeff Goldblum convention that happens in his hometown, I want to say. And it's an episode about tattoos. And he helps give a Jeff Goldblum tattoo onto someone on one of the episodes. So great little STEM show. All right. We got totally distracted from the topic, from musicals to Jeff Goldblum. Sorry about it. But I'm super excited. It is July 2nd, which means Hamilton's right around the corner. So exciting. What a time to be alive. So we've got about 10 minutes here. Before we wrap things up, this is sort of our little section where we give some plugs on what we're doing, what kind of exciting things are coming up for us. Charmaine, I would love to know more about this AI group that you have. Where can people learn about it or get involved, or tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so you can find us at aiforanyone.org. And so basically we traditionally do a lot of in-person workshops all across like New York City, especially in local high schools and stuff like that. So that was where we started off. And now that there's like COVID and whatnot, we've really expanded our digital products basically. So right now we have a biweekly newsletter that I write. And then
subscribe.
Yeah, we've grown our audience. Like we've had a massive growth in audience over the past few months. So it's been a lot of fun. We also have a blog. We have a podcast that just came out with Paul Lipson, a professor at Columbia University who's doing like really cool stuff in AI. And so we also have like workshops coming up. We did one with Mark Cuban Foundation recently. And that was like an AI intro. And then we did another one about AI in healthcare. And we're trying to launch another one in racial biases within AI algorithms. And so really cool exciting stuff. And,
So I'm subscribing to the podcast. I'm subscribing to the newsletter. I'm subscribing to all these things. It sounds amazing. Brandon, what about you? What do you got on the docket?
Oh man. I wish I had cool stuff like that.
I know. But, I'm like, she's going to put us out of a job. She's going to build the AI to put us out of a job, Brandon. No, I'm just kidding.
It's fine. But no, I figured I'll give shout out to some friends who have been doing some amazing work, and we've talked about my app GitTrends, and I've had some
our
more
favorite
friends.
app of the show, the official app of 92 and Pike.
So if you need to monitor your GitHub repos, go to gittrends.com today.
Ding.
But yeah, so we've been adding in some more support for languages. So I had some friends in the developer community open pull requests that submitted Bosnian, Ukrainian, and then my friend Louis Polhos, he was the one that actually designed the UI for the app. So I launched this app. I mean, it didn't look bad, but it did look great. And it's because
most apps are when you first release them.
Yeah, it was very functional. But yeah, my friend Louis from Florida hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, what do you think of these drawings?" And I was like, "I love it." And so he completely redesigned the UI. It looks amazing now. And he's actually putting together a whole blog post presentation on how to do that yourself. So how to design mobile applications. And a lot of it comes from tools and things he learned while going through the process of updating GitTrends. And so, yeah, I'd love to share that with everybody once it's live. I'm trying to get him, because right now, yeah, I own the domain GitTrends.com, but it just points to the GitHub page because I'm not a web developer, so I can't make a website. But I was trying to get him to, once this write-up is done, I was like, dude, could I have this? Can I point GitTrends.com to your site? That's amazing. And so, yeah, I every day keep being overwhelmed with how much the community has been helping out and contributing to this app. And so a huge shout out to the friends of the community who've been helping me and contributing, and we'll hopefully have this new version with all the foreign languages support out soon, maybe definitely this month. So in a couple weeks.
So
stay tuned.
Exciting. Ooh, the official app of the pod. I call it a pod, but it's the show. Let's see. What am I doing? So, I'm speaking at Powerful Devs Conf, which you can check out more info at aka.ms/powerfuldevsconf. And I actually think it's going to be streamed right here on Learn TV. So if you go to aka.ms/Learn TV on July 15th, we'll be streaming that on here. I am giving a talk about how to make AI feel less like sci-fi. So Charmaine, I'm probably going to come to you for for your insight there. But it's all about how to get started with AI using Power Apps. It's an entire conference dedicated to Power Apps. And if you're unfamiliar with Power Apps, really easy, lightweight, kind of drag and drop way for people who may not be very well versed in code to build their own apps. So anybody from admins to office managers, like my previous life. But it's really exciting because Scott Guthrie will be speaking. We have a lot of other amazing folks like Charles Lamanna. We have Maria Nagata. So check it out. That's going to be super fun. If you want to get a head start on what I'm doing on that, you can go to, oh my gosh, I don't even remember the link, aka.ms/powerful something. I will link it on the YouTube video. I totally clicked out of the tab that I was in. But in addition to that, and I should have mentioned this during the cool news and stuff that was happening, but we can touch on it a little bit more next week. But Microsoft announced an initiative to help 25 million people worldwide to acquire the digital skills needed in a COVID-19 economy. So there's a lot of really cool things coming out of our team and the team that Charmaine is working on. So I'm super, super excited to see what we're doing. That it's a huge initiative to get people really globally skilled to do technology things that we really, really need at home and in this industry right now. So check out Powerful Devs. Charmaine, where can people find you on the interwebs? What is I think we have your Twitter handle listed here, but any other pages or websites? Should they check out your Neopet page? Is that still a thing?
Of course.
Do not check out my Neopets page. But you can find my personal website /blog, charmainelee.com. So you should find everything there. But yeah, Twitter's good, you know?
And I'm very serious. I'm going to poke you today or tomorrow about this Dr. Seuss thing. This sounds so cool. I am so excited to see what you're doing with all this AI ML stuff, because truly I believe that the people working on this need to have a good idea of the power. With great power comes great responsibility, and you are a great responsible person to be working on this. So thank you for all the work that you do, and congrats on your 3rd internship. This is so exciting. It's so great to be working with you now. And I would say see you in the hallways, but of the hallways of teams, we'll call it.
In the hallways of teams.
Oh my gosh, Brandon, we still haven't thought of a sign off for this show. Here we are at 12:57. How should we sign off? Charmaine, help us think of a sign off phrase for this show. So, to everybody on the internet, this is Chloe.
And Brandon.
And
Charmaine.
And this has been 92 and Pike. Good afternoon, or good morning, or good night, whenever you're watching this.
I think that was good. That was succint enough.
That was good. Bye, y'all.